Just want to take a sec before this video begins to let you guys know the Grind Zone giveaway for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is still going strong. If you haven't had the chance to enter just yet, the link will be down in the description and in the comment section down below. Best of luck to everyone who enters, and now onto the video. Sonic. Yeah, I highly doubt majority of you thought you'd ever see a Sonic video from me. Now don't get me wrong, I love Sonic. I think next to Mario, he's one of the most iconic video game characters ever made. Taking off in 1991, Sonic changed the traditional platformer style that was created by Mario franchise back in 1985 into a more intricate level design combined with high-speed movement, as Sonic's most defining attribute is how he's one of the fastest beings alive. Though at the time, Sonic's true speed wasn't, in my opinion, really shown off until later games down the line, but at the time, unless it was a racing game, no other widely known video game character compete with Sonic's speed. Now taking us back to my early childhood, though I had experience with games like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, I didn't truly become a Sonic fan until I was around 5 or so when I got my hands on Sonic Advance. Though I had always been a Mario kid, my first video game being Super Mario World, I couldn't deny how much fun I had with the series. Advance 3 is debatable, but I have the most memories with 2 and 3 all the same. Being able to reach unrivaled speeds for a platformer and pull off cool tricks in the air before returning back to the ground was a remarkably fulfilling sensation. Though as the years went on, more and more Sonic games released, even making the jump to 3D in 1998, for some reason a lot of the Blue Blur's titles became more and more debatable. Which comes to a surprise to me, as Sonic long ago established how his 2D games should play while doing the same for the 3D games as shown off in the Adventure series and Sonic Generations. Though for this particular video, we'll be covering the newest 3D game in the series, Sonic Forces. When the game was initially revealed, I won't lie, I was hyped. It seemed like a darker toned Sonic game while applying the same formula that Generations did. Though yet this game left many players feeling disappointed. Why is that exactly? Let's find out. This is my review of Sonic Forces on the PlayStation 4. Now, I've always been kind of picky when it comes to 3D Sonic. Maybe it's just because a lot of games promote exploration at the same time as giving me a boost function that can have me breeze through 90% of the level. It makes me feel that the game lacks focus on what exactly the developers wanted a player to do. But I'm getting ahead of myself as always. We've got a story to summarize. The game begins with Eggman once again planning on world domination, as we're cut to Sonic racing through the familiar Green Hill Zone when he receives a distress call from Tails that Eggman and his army have stormed the city once again and need Sonic's help. Upon allowing the civilians to escape, Sonic's greeted by 4 enemies of Sonic's past, alongside a new villain named Infinite, with peculiar powers that in the end cause the Blue Blur to be overwhelmed. 6 whole months go by and Eggman has taken over the world thanks to his capture of Sonic, though the remaining Sonic characters we've seen throughout the years have formed a resistance to stand against Eggman and reclaim the world's peace. The game then begins as your created character comes onto the scene and becomes the latest casualty, rookie in the resistance. Yes, Sonic Forces actually grants the one thing Sonic stands have wanted the most, their very own Sonic OC. As creepy as they can look, I think this is a nice little addition to the game. It personalizes the adventure. Though I feel like our created character, who we'll call Ace in this review, has decent development, but thanks to being a silent protagonist, I feel like we could have gotten more if he actually could use the voice we chose for him for more than just grunts and woohoos. Even if he didn't use the voice that we gave him, but at least had dialogue options on screen that we could choose from, would have been nice, but these are all just nitpicks. Ace is fine just as he is in all honesty. And that's when Ace receives his first mission through Chemical Plant Zone. While at the same time in the city, Tails is greeted by classic Sonic yet again, this time appearing from the world of Sonic Mania. Yep, the two games actually correlate with one another, presumably why both games' total cost is $60, the price of a regular new game. But thanks to the source of power Infinite possesses, the young Hedgehog is stuck in this dimension unless they defeat Infinite and stop Eggman. That's when the Resistance locates Sonic on Eggman's Death Egg space station, where he's apparently been torturing Sonic just to pass the time, and it's up to Ace to speed into the Death Egg and save Sonic. Though for most of that, he kind of saves himself and saves Ace, and meets up with him just in time to race back home, mission accomplished. With Sonic back on the battlefront, there's more work to be done as the hunt for Infinite continues. Sonic eventually finds Infinite fighting with Silver. Before things get too ugly, Sonic steps in to teach him a thing or two, but ends with the man escaping before getting enough information out of him. Though soon after, on the scene of Green Hill Zone, Tails and Classic Sonic are eavesdropping on the plans between Eggman and Infinite, where they learn Sonic is still alive and that the source of Infinite's power is from a stone called the Phantom Ruby. After Infinite leaves the scene, that's when Classic Sonic makes his move against Eggman, where the two battle it out until Sonic is the winner. Though this isn't the end. That's when Eggman reveals that his plan in motion will end the world in 3 days time. Majora's Mask anyone? Which leads to the two scrambling looking for Sonic to pass on the information. And at the same time, a strange signature reading was discovered where Sonic had fought Infinite previously when he was saving Silver in Mystic Jungle. Upon reaching the end of the stage and meeting up with classic Sonic and Tails, Ace finds one of the prototype Phantom Rubies that the two had overheard Eggman and Infinite mention. That's when the scene cuts to the trio making it back to HQ and reuniting with modern Sonic. And forgive me if this all sounds clustered. Typing this out made me realize how much of a mess this story has been so far. Things all taking place at the same time, some before, some after, some while saying you were doing one stage while you're doing another. But Tails informs everyone of Eggman's plans about the world ending in 3 days. That's when the gang goes into overdrive and gets back to work. Sonic receives word of Shadow's attack on the city when the fight between Sonic and Shadow is about to happen. Shadow comes in and saves the day. Yeah. That pretty much describes the plot at this point. But it turns out the enemies they've been seeing have been fakes created by the Phantom Ruby's power, and that he can continuously keep making copies endlessly. So the Resistance plans an all-out assault against Eggman's forces as it means to overwhelm the enemy. But with one activation of Infinite's Phantom Ruby, it caused chaos among all the Resistance troops, ruining the plans and leaving things all up to Ace to once again reunite with Infinite, who also apparently had a past with the villain. As it turns out, Ace was one of the victims of Infinite's arrival, but was spared as long as he showed the villain he feared him. But taking his stand now, Ace combats against him, ending with once again Infinite not finishing his foe and walking off. But all hope wasn't lost that day as classic Sonic, after receiving word of vital intel of Eggman's plants at the chemical plant, he races through the stage and accomplishes the mission. This is when we find out more about the power of the Phantom Ruby. As it turns out, it's a virtual reality weapon that takes over a person's visual and depth perception to give them false information sent to the brain, essentially overriding what's right in front of you and recreating it into something Infinite wants you to believe is real. This is really interesting, despite being obvious by the fakes looking glitchy. When being hit by Infinite in previous boss battles, it warped reality and would eventually turn back to normal. But with all this being said, Tails deduces that destroying the Death Egg to stop the energy transfer between it and the Phantom Ruby will render it practically useless. That's when classic Sonic goes in and causes the destruction of the Death Egg. With the Death Egg gone, the Resistance goes out once again with an all-out attack approach and storms the city with Sonic, where Eggman sends Sonic and Ace into null space, otherwise known as the Void. But through the power of friendship, the two make it out like nothing happened. With nothing left stopping the Resistance, they storm the final area of the game, where it's revealed that Eggman's plan was to crash a sun into the Earth. Yeah. Well, next Tails lets Ace know with his prototype Phantom Ruby, he can make the tormenting sun disappear and save the world. And he does just that. With the sun gone, Sonic confronts Infinite once again, but with Ace by his side, defeating Infinite once and for all. Though not all is as it seems. It's revealed Eggman combined the Phantom Ruby into his own Death Egg robot, making it much stronger than Infinite ever was. So the trio Ace, Classic Sonic, and Modern Sonic band together with the power of running fast and friendship, defeated the core of the Death Egg robot. With the Phantom Ruby gone, Classic is sent back to his dimension and the world is finally back to normal. But with the world saved, Sonic and Ace decide to leave the Resistance and go on their own personal journeys to see the world and do whatever good they can. And that's it. That's the story. Well, okay, well, where do I start? Firstly, this game is only 4 hours long, making it the shortest 3D Sonic game by far. But with this being said, why the flim-flam does this game feel like it's been dragged on for weeks? Like seriously, though I like the idea of the Phantom Ruby and I overall thought Infinite was a really cool villain, but doing the classic letting my enemies go because I got better things to do is annoying. I hated Girahim doing this in Skyward Sword, yet it feels much worse here. Not only did everything in the story itself happen so fast, something literally didn't correlate with one another. Like how they said Sonic was being tortured every day for 6 months, yet when we see him, no scars, no PTSD, no fear, just the same sarcastic Sonic as always, like nothing happened. Also, like when the Resistance said Tails had not been around because Tails lost it after Sonic was captured, but then when we see Tails again soon after, it's like nothing happened. He's just tinkering with Omega without a care in the world. I just feel like the game is going out of its way to give us explanations on certain characters' well-beings after not seeing them for a while. You'd think it'd follow through and not forget what it said mere minutes after saying it. Now about the overall gameplay, which I'm sure many of you watching are already ready to hear. The gameplay isn't bad. Not all of it anyway. I genuinely enjoyed every single stage while playing as Ace. He handled well, there was nice intricate level design, and the overall presentation alongside the soundtrack had me enjoy every minute of it. Literally, as each stage takes less than 2 minutes to actually complete, aside from the final stage, which is much longer. But where I got annoyed was at the classic Sonic, which is strange because I really liked his stages in Generations. It was a stage version I looked forward to even over modern Sonics back then. I truly felt that the classic Sonic stages were a complete pace breaker. Classic Sonic Sonic always had this great balance of speed and intricate level design promoting exploration, but here the levels were so short there wasn't much to do besides finish the level, and I really felt the platforming segments had ridiculously tight design, as if it kind of felt on multiple occasions that they wanted you to die repeatedly. And even worse off, which kind of made me not want to do his missions from the jump, was that Classic Sonic has little to no reason to even be in this game. The only thing he did that had purpose was getting the intel from Eggman's base. Sure, he blew up the Death Egg, but if Ace wasn't out doing some pointless missions from time to time, he would have just as easily done it, if not even easier. Now this may be a bit decisive, but I actually enjoyed modern Sonic stages as well, mainly the 2D segments, but I felt this game was really lacking in the speed department since Classic Sonic has little to none. Ace achieved some, but whenever he actually got moving, enemies would appear, bringing him back to a screeching halt. But Sonic got us moving, and moving consistently, only truly stopping during the stages where Ace and him win as a team. For Sonic, his levels mainly consisted of gorgeous scenery and simply high-speed action with the moments of pummeling enemies without completely breaking the pace by repeating spamming the homing attack. Now again, I'm not saying this is a great thing. I'm aware that if this was a thing in every 3D Sonic game, or even a majority of them, I would be really annoyed and bored of it by then. But the way this game was constructed, the mindless speed Sonic can achieve felt really comforting after already being satisfied by Ace's levels and being disappointed by Classic Sonic. Also, I thought I'd mention, this game is littered with bonus stages, but in all honesty, I just couldn't care. I played one towards the beginning, and I don't doubt that they improve as more and more became available. It's just that at that point, I truly just felt like finishing the game already. I couldn't be bothered with checking out the bonus content, such as even the Shadow DLC, if the primary game wasn't anything to phone home about. I'll definitely say though that in terms of graphics, in my opinion, it can't be denied this is the best looking 3D Sonic game ever made. The models look astounding, the voice acting was superb, well, everyone except for Sonic. And as I said before, from the ground you run on, to the grasslands, to the robotic factories in the distance, the game is beautiful on PS4 Pro with a wonderful 60 FPS without a moment of slowdown. And I've gotta say that the soundtrack in this game complements its scenery to the highest degree. And I'm fond of every single track, and I found myself dancing to the tunes every chance I got. It's the main reason I even found classic Sonic stages bearable. So at the end of the day, I honestly just can't find myself highly recommending Sonic Forces to anyone except diehard Sonic fans who have probably already played this game and beaten it with over 100 hours in it. This game isn't awful, it just feels rushed and unfinished. I have no doubt that the game could have been better if delayed further for completion, but that's about all I can say. I know I may have been a Debbie Downer for this one, but honestly, I just didn't have too much fun with this one. The moments I did enjoy were certainly there, just I personally felt the bad outweighed the good for this game. It's definitely one I recommend skipping if you're thinking you'll have a grand adventure worthy of the title of a Sonic game, but for those who don't want to take my word for it, maybe you'll see something I didn't. As for what's next, you guys voted and Mega Man 11 received second place on our previous poll, but instead of doing an actual KingdomAce and review of the game, I'll do a similar type of video giving my full thoughts on this game and its stages. Thought I'd make that clear before ending off. So next up on our list of reviews, because of Spyro the Reignited Trilogy coming to PS4 in a couple weeks, next up we'll be tackling his partner in crime, Crash Bandicoot 1 through his Insane Trilogy. Now fun fact, I've never actually played a Crash game, so in this review will be unbiased as it gets. So if you haven't already, hitting the bell to subscribing will make sure you never miss a video again and keep you notified when a video goes live. So all you guys watching the premiere right now or catching the VOD of this afterwards, either way, why not leave me a like? It lets me know you're enjoying these reviews and I can keep pumping them out. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is KingdomAce, and remember my loyal knights to always look skyward.